Welcome to episode 255.
You're listening to Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast, where you'll learn the underground, closely guarded secrets that will revolutionize your real estate business. This podcast is all about helping you exit the real estate newbie zone and enter financial freedom, building up your real estate throne. This is Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast. And now your host, real estate investor, entrepreneur, world traveler, and nationwide mentor, Chris Bruce.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Escaping the REI Newbie Zone. I'm your host, Chris Bruce. I want to say thank you for tuning in to today's show. Now, guys, I have a very special guest on this podcast today. I know it's been a while since I've done any interviews, and I apologize for that. I really do. But I wanted to, since I'm coming back to a new interview, I wanted to do something totally different, a whole new story, something that you've never heard from anybody. This is a friend of mine. We've met about in December back in Houston through another mutual friend of mine, Marlon Wilson. And incredible guy. I've been following his journey on social media, and he has been in total beast mode. But his story, I don't even want to give it away. But when I tell you, from a man that has went through some of the craziest trauma as well that someone could go through, that someone can actually endure, you're going to be like, wow, you should feel super inspired, okay? And this is common in the urban community, all right? His story is going to relate to you, okay? So I don't want to wait too much further and talk about, we're going to talk about this story. It's going to blow you away. But I promise you're going to be super inspired by this. Tune in. So let me go ahead and wait no further, okay? Introduce my friend, my guest, my man, Robert Kennon. All right, how you doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Escaping the REI Newbie Zone. I am your host, Chris Bruce. Now, you guys should know that, listen, when I do an interview, I only bring on real estate investors, people that have been out in the grind, in the streets, and doing the business for real. And I have a guy that I met back in December through a friend of mine, Marlon, I've known for a few years. Some of you guys have known. Us been in different countries together. But he introduced me to a guy that, has a very great story that I really feel like everybody should hear this, because, a lot of times we see people, or we hear from people that have been successful, and sometimes they don't look like us. Sometimes we can't connect with their story, and that's understandable. But this gentleman here, he has an incredible story, and if you follow him on social media, you will see he is all about process. And you guys know I always talk about it's a process. Success does not come overnight. But this guy, I've literally seen him built up an empire, from the ground up. So let me go ahead and wait no further. Introduce my guy, Rob. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Chris, man? I appreciate the opportunity, man. Very thankful, man. You somebody that inspired me, and I'm thankful for my boy Marlon Wilson hooking me up with you, man. Great minds, be around people. So I'm thankful for that connection.
Definitely, no doubt. All right, so Rob, for people that may not, know about you yet, which they're gonna know now, because this podcast is gonna be streamed out to over 50 countries, and we got a lot of listeners. So they're gonna know about you in just a minute. But the people that don't know about you, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you were before real estate, and how you got introduced to real estate.
Man, great question, man. Where I was before real estate, man, to be honest, Chris, man, I was a drug dealer at the time.
Okay.
And coming up in the hood, man, we was always entrepreneurs, but we didn't see those type of visions at the time. We were just seeing the stuff at the moment and the stuff of the materialistic things that we seen within our reach.
Right.
So going through this journey of life, growing up in South Park side of Houston, Yellowstone, Third Ward areas. That's the south side of Houston, a major side where is a lot of us in those communities, and that was what I was a part of. And coming up through those communities and being around certain type of people led me up into this life that was the drug game.
Gotcha.
You know, yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right, so you got into selling drugs, things like that, like a lot of people do, coming up in the lower income areas, the hood, right?
Right.
But then something changed for you. What major change happened in your life that made you have to force to stop selling drugs?
Great question, man. It was through, you know what, man? It was through a process that I didn't understand at the time. I actually went to prison at 22 years old. On a drug conspiracy out of California. We were selling drugs in different parts of the United States, and I was the youngest guy on that case. And at 22 years old, 5 in the morning, the feds came in my life. I woke up to about 10 guns and infrared beams in my face.
Wow.
Thinking that somebody coming and kick down my door,
right? But
it was the feds. You know what I'm saying? So it was a situation where I grabbed both of my guns and I hit a dope bust. I jump up and I killed with my guns by my bed. And man, I just heard FBI, U.S. Marshals, and that day, August 26th, man, was a defining moment in my life, man.
Wow.
It was something to create a nightmare, man. Like I just read stories like, man, you gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So that was going through my mind. I didn't know what was going on because I ain't never been to prison at the time, nothing like that.
Right.
And that was my first time actually going to prison.
Okay.
When I went to federal.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay. So all right. So let's talk about. Did you even know that they were on you? Did you have any idea, or you were just like, hey, I'm making money. We doing good. We living life.
Right. Now, man, in the process, you felt some things. Because we stayed, changing phones. Because
right.
I deal with guys out of California who was 10 and 15 years older than me. So people from California are a little advanced than Texas people. You know what I'm saying? As far as in mindset and style and all these other areas. So these guys was kind of advanced and was coaching me to always change phones. Because I guess they felt something, but I was just such a guy that was moving products so much, they wanted to keep me safe, but we didn't. We just wanted to just be precautious of the
right.
process because we was doing so much
at
those times. But I had no idea, man, until they got us. They followed us because we traveled around the world a lot, and they followed us to every country we went to, every city, Super Bowls, fights, had pictures of us after we got caught.
Oh.
And that was 2 years in advance.
Wow. Yeah, so they take time to build that case. So when they hit you, they like, oh yeah, you going down. Yeah,
absolutely.
So okay, so tell me, Rob. So how much time did they give you?
I got 60 months.
Okay.
I got 60 months. And that process, that was my first time going through prison. So it's like a point system that they use. They use your background to, go up on the scale, on the charts and stuff like that. So it was like out of the 10 of us, it's kind of went in sequence. One person got 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, and so on. Got
you.
Yeah,
I understand that because I got a homie, this dude I grew up with. It's like my brother. He got fed time. They hit him over the head because they wanted to make an example out of him. But he was doing like some credit card stuff, and they gave him 8 years. So he got a few more years coming. So I know how that process works. Okay, so the thing is that you got sent to this time. What was the feeling like? Was you like, man, like my life is over? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I mean, obviously you got to do the time, right? But like, what was going through the mind of like, what am I gonna do now that I got to do this time?
Man, you know what? Before I went to prison, man, I had 5 different businesses that I was, I had my own businesses, but I was associated with some more. And honestly, man, all that stuff got seized at that moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Once I went through that process, because everything was in my name. I had a
Yep.
vending machine company
Okay.
and 22 different, businesses around Houston.
Gotcha.
I had a trucking company, as far as I had Hot Shot Rolling.
Okay.
Then I had a jersey store and a barber shop with another partner of mine.
Okay.
Then I had a record label that was associated with some of my guys from California that was called Paper Down Records. Then I also had owned a couple of properties that I bought from the foreclosure.
Gotcha.
In the past. So I was, like I say, man, when I first went there, I was thinking about this. It's like I lost all this, I worked all this, sold all these drugs, and thinking I was, investing my money, which I was.
Yeah.
And it all got taken.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's all I was thinking about. But at the same time, all my stuff ain't get taken because I had a lot of different bank accounts at the time.
Okay.
Only thing that kept me going was my vending machine company that I had. I bought refurbished vending machines, and I had locators to put my vending machines in different locations. So my mom took over when I was in prison.
Okay. Perfect.
So that was what I was thinking about when I was laying in that bed. All this hard work has been taken from me. That was my thoughts. Like, wow.
Gotcha.
Then thinking about my life, like, what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that was my thoughts in that process.
Okay. So the good thing is that you had some experience with real estate, like because you had bought some foreclosure properties and stuff like that. So what was the thing that led you to find out about wholesaling?
Man, you know what? I didn't know all the way about real estate. I just went to the auction with my OGs,
Gotcha.
man, and just bought properties. I didn't know about the strategies, negotiations.
Right.
I just had money and was able to just, oh man, come to the auction, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, wholesaling actually came years later.
Okay.
I was studying real estate, reading real estate books because that's where my birth of reading books came from when I was in prison.
Gotcha.
I went on a massive journey. First, I was reading a lot of the, drug books and stuff like that. I was fascinated with the stories of the fiction of all this other buffoonery stuff that I was reading. I wanted to read all the Terry Woods and all these things that was fascinating to my life.
Big Meech and everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then the epiphany came, man, actually when I was in prison, and I'm going to get where the wholesaling came from.
Okay.
I'm going through this to tell you. One morning, I used to get up and go to the restroom at 5 in the morning and wake up, and I used to see a lot of guys sitting around watching the TV, and they was outside our culture. You know what I'm saying? They was Caucasian individuals and Indian guys and stuff like that, and I got tired of going to the restroom seeing these guys, and I just one day came into the TV room and seeing they was watching the stock channel, and everybody was drinking coffee. I hate coffee to this day. So when I walked in the TV room, one guy said, "Hey, you want some coffee?" In my head, I said, "Man, I don't like it." I said, "Yeah." So I took the coffee just to be able to sit amongst these guys, and I hate coffee, and I fake like I did.
Right.
But I drank the coffee, and that day I was inspired. And that conversation in front of that TV about stocks and real estate, that's all they was talking about.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I said, man, I gotta, those moments right there start planting seeds, because all these guys that was in that room was in there for some embezzlement, different type of stuff. And one guy had investment of 8 years, and the way they was sitting with their posture, Chris, was crazy, because they all sat with posture with their legs crossed and drinking their coffee. So I said, who in jail isn't comfortable?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And as I started getting to know these guys, I'm like, man, we drug dealers in here for all this time. It's life sentences. People got life in 30 years. But these guys are here, embezzlement for 8 million, 2 million, and got 13 months, 22 months.
Right.
I'm like, man, this part of the game is this.
Yeah.
And they was talking about their real estate investments and their stocks. Wow. And ever since that day, bro, I started going to sit in front of that TV at 5 in the morning while everybody else was asleep. And I was getting informed about investments more in depth by guys who was in action, and I was able to be a part of these high executive guys because I was even a part of the guys along in my journey against some of the in-run guys. One of them fell into one of my drug classes.
Okay.
And prison is like a college. It's nothing but mastermind.
Absolutely.
Around
I tell people, some of the smartest people is behind the bars, man. Smartest people in the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Napoleon Hill spoke on that. He said if all those people in prison direct their energy to what they did wrong and direct it to a purpose, they all be successful. He'll bet on those guys.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where everything started planting seeds, man. I'm like, these guys in here worth millions, and we in here, you know, thinking we are standing for something, but really we 100 steps behind.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So, all right. So you start masterminding with these other guys, you know, from different cultures. They putting you on game. They talking different lingo, right? They talking big money stuff. Some things that, you know, us as a culture, a lot of times we haven't been able to really even just understand. So now it's like, okay, fine, real estate. Okay, so what transferred for what was the thing where you was like, okay, you know what? When I get out, I got a plan. I'm gonna attack this real estate game. What was that looking like? What was for you?
Well, for me, man, honestly, and I tell a lot of people this, which they didn't understand this. I started falling in love with stock options more than real estate first.
Okay.
So I learned both while I was there, knowledge-wise, and my first plan was to attack the stock market.
Okay.
When I got, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't. But see, it's another journey, another layer to that, because when I was in jail around that time in prison, I got out. Even though I had all this information, but I felt I was still kind of young, naive, and I got back into the game.
Okay.
Even with all this knowledge.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got back into the game, and because I lost a lot, you know, I just felt stripped. And now I was thinking genius. I was thinking plans, but I'm like, man,
you got to get some money real quick.
I got to get some money to make the stock market.
Exactly.
I don't got that I'm working with. I ain't never had a job in my life at the time.
Okay.
You know, only until I got out the feds. I worked for 3 months of my whole life. I worked while I was in a federal halfway house to be able to get out, just to get out the halfway house. So I don't have to sit in there all day.
Okay.
So I'm searching for a job through guys who's coming back, and I got a job by pressure washing inside tanks. But along that process, man, I didn't have the blueprint until I got out. I got back in the game, came back and probably made about $100,000 in about 9 months, cash wise.
Okay.
And in that process, I ended up getting shot in a home invasion.
Wow.
On that one. Yeah, I got shot in a home invasion in 2008, and I ended up getting hit 8 times, and I hit one of the guys who came in and shot me. It was 2 guys, and my ex-girlfriend, my ex-wife, she got shot with me in the legs and stuff. And I give honor and glory to God for that, man, because that was a defining moment in my life that the ambulance and the doctors didn't understand why I was so calm. They said, "Why are you so calm and you go into shock and you've been shot 8 times? You got your bone been splattered. You're not in pain?" Because I said, well, before that night, I got on my knees and prayed and just was asking for God's protection and grace, and I not knowing the next morning that happened.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. And that moment defined me a little bit. It started shaping me, because now I go with shot. Then I stopped hustling for a whole year. So I lived off my money that I made when I got out. I lived off my money for a year to recover.
Okay. Because
I got shot, I was traumatized.
Yeah.
So I got out the game.
I can only imagine, because, you know, it's like, okay, you went to prison, right? Okay, fine. Right. You didn't have your freedom, but you was good. You know, it wasn't like, you know, torture to the. But then when you get shot, when you like, damn, my life is almost taken.
Absolutely.
Oh, no, it's time to get out this.
Absolutely, it's a different mindset, bro. It makes you move different then it makes you fearless too, because now you're trying to recover. And at the moment, man, I went through a lot of complications of trying to recover. And the doctor, part of my testimony was when the doctor told me that I'd never walk straight again. He came in with the charts after I got out of surgery and stuff. He came in with the charts and showed me my bones and stuff and said, well, you'll never walk straight again. You're going to walk with a limp, and you probably can't run really a lot. So I just said, I refused that in my mindset and kept doing powerful affirmations, even in my bed. And I turned to I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual, because I learned all these other religions when I was in prison. I love the Muslim culture, I love Buddhists, I love other cultures that I was able to learn about,
right,
to give me a different perspective. So I just started using my mindset of my affirmations of the things that I know God can do. Mm-hmm. And through that process, man, it took me probably about a year to heal. And one day, after I got healed for a year, man, you'll never believe this. Because I remember your question when you said when I got into wholesale, and I'm taking you to it so you can understand it.
Yeah, we need to know that journey, exactly.
So in that process, Chris, after I healed for a year, man, I got back into the game again, bro.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I got back into the game again, man. And that's what I'm saying. I ain't understand. I was, got back into the game because I healed.
Yep.
And this was going to be the most, thing about it. That's why I'm writing a book about my life. Because I got back into the game and I healed. And I got shot in 2008. I got healed in 2009, being able to walk right, stuff like that. So as I got back into the game in 2009, in 2010, I got violated for being in a shooting in 2008. I didn't tell my probation officer I got in a shootout. Even though the gun was registered to my next door neighbor that stayed in my mom's neighborhood. I can buy my guns and people names I know. And so I was supposed to told them about that, but I told them I got in a car accident, a bad accident, because I had to show them my medicine. I was on crutches a long time and medication. So I'm doing drug tests. I got to get them
of course.
prescriptions. Yeah. So in 2010, they found out that I got in a shootout. And I didn't tell them about it. So they violated me in August of 2010. But this is where the breaking point came. So I got back in the game. Remember, I told you I got shot in 2008.
Yep.
I got back in the game after I healed.
Right.
In 2010, I get pulled over and had a federal warrant. Come to find out, it was a federal warrant for me. Them finding out about that I got in a shootout in 2008.
Yeah.
So along that journey, man, they sent me to a maximum federal prison on accident.
Oh, man.
Because when I got there, they sent me to Bloody Beaumont. That's what they used to call it. Where it's life sentences. It's 20 foot walls.
Right.
So when I got there they said, well, man, you just left the camp. Why is you over here? And they started calling people to the front, said, well, he just left the camp. He ain't supposed to come here. So they said, man, you're going to have to go to protected custody and get your paperwork rerouted, and you're going to have to sit in protected custody for about a couple of months. You might be home, because by the time I got there, because they gave me 9 months for the violation.
Okay.
And killed my papers. And by the time I got there, I had like 5 months left because I was in federal holding.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, going through that maximum prison, Chris, is where I really, it was the breaking point of my life. Okay. Because I ended up meeting a guy who had 8 life sentences and 100 years, and we became best friends.
Wow.
And he was from Houston.
Okay.
And his faith in God and Jesus was really captivating to me, because he was locked up for 23 years already at the time. And his son and daughter only came and seeing him out of 23 years was on one hand. that he could count how many times they came and seen him. So that guy was the guy who changed my whole mind, because after lunch, we walked the track every day. He wanted to know about Houston and the world. So I was his light of vision for him. Okay. And he was a light to me of all his processes.
Right.
We was trading information, and he was like molding me. And I the way I look back now, he was looking at me like his son.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He talked about his son all the time. He showed me pictures stuff. And the guy rewired my mind, Chris. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. He rewired my mind, because this is where my test came from. He ended up dying like a year ago with sickle cell. Damn. And his fate was so strong. I watched him that whole 5 months I was there. I watched him every day, the way he eat. Because in the feds, you know, it's a different set of rules. It's different. It's people around there with 4 life sentences, 2 life sentences, but he had 8 life sentences in 100 years. He was very well respected because of that too.
Of course.
And that's who gave me like my behind the scenes power within myself. That's why I'm like vicious in the way I do stuff, because of him. He like gave me an idea of that, because he used to just challenge me. He challenged me like, "What you gonna do when you get out there? How much money you gonna make? This and this." And everybody in Houston and everybody whoever knows me, I keep a journal everywhere I go. It's because of him. So I keep my goals and my commitments to myself that I have to, you know, at least try to commit to.
Yep.
Because of that guy.
Gotcha.
And when I got out of federal prison in 2011, I never went back to doing wrong ever in my life. And I went through the worst temporary defeat, because I was jobless for 2 years and was trying to get a job at Walmart, everywhere else, every warehouse they gonna hire me. I was trying to get a job, but all the information I learned from the past started coming back to me, because as I was going through this brokenness of temporary defeat, I started going to a lot of real estate events with no money in my pocket. My mom, thanks to my mom, shout out to my mom, she was giving me $20, $100 every time she get paid. She sold one of her vehicles to pay for me to go to a 3-day Rich Dad event. And she was, you know, buying my business cards and stuff for me, buying my fax machines and stuff, and you know, let me use her car drop off every day. But I was going to these real estate meetings every day, going through temporary defeat for 2 years, and I closed my first deal October of 2013. So look at this, from 11 to 13 was the first time I ever did a legitimate deal.
Right.
Made some real legitimate money.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all this sacrifice before I even.
Right. And I want to talk about that, Rob, because one thing you mentioned, which people need to understand, is you said temporary defeat. See, a lot of people think that, you know, we get in and, you know, I can make money in 30 days, or, you know, or they look at stuff and they need success overnight. Here you just talked about you went through a temporary defeat for 2 years until you then got your first deal. And I want to say that people need to understand that this is the type of mindset, the type of thinking that you have to have, guys, is that there will be temporary defeat. There will be times where you're not going to be successful out the gate. You're not going to make money in the first 15, 30 days of doing this business. It took me 3 months. 26 properties under contract before I got one closed. Here, Rob just said it took him 2 years. Most people, y'all give up in 2 days. You know, so I want to first say that shows a lot about your character, Rob. First off, you know,
appreciate you, bro.
Is that, you know, you were able to say, hey, listen, I'm not giving up. At the end of the day, when you're at the bottom, you only have one way to go anyway.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Absolutely.
It's like,
that's the only way.
It's the only way. So it's like, so you might as well, when you have this knowledge, education. I tell people, when you learn something, when you educate yourself, when you put hours of time in, get your return on your investment.
Man, best way, man. I never knew the knowledge was so important. You know what I'm saying? Like, people like you, what I see what you doing. That's why I told you off the first, when I talked to you on the phone, I said, man, I want to be a student because I want to learn what you know. You know what I'm saying? Because I see the way you make your moves, man, and that's something that I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not there. I never, even though I might have accumulated some things in life, but I would not still look at myself like I know it all or I got it all. I'm looking for guys like you to pull myself up because it's, you know what I'm saying? It's still levels of learning to go.
Okay. Definitely. Okay, so all right, so let's go ahead. Okay, so you did your first deal. You said October 2013. All right, so what happens after that? Do you start your whole business? You start to like go full force? What happened after that?
Okay, my first deal, man, I made $4,000.
Okay.
That was my first deal. Made $4,000 where I brought a buyer to the deal.
Okay.
And when I made my first $4,000, that blew my mind of making some legitimate money. So it's just like when I closed that first deal, I kept that check for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
To visualize this check. My mom gave me a loan just so I could keep my check. She really got it saved. I said, Bobby, give me like 500. Right, I got you. You know what I'm saying? But I want to feel this check.
Right.
I walked around with this check, bro, for 2 weeks for real.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I needed to feel that moment. And Chris, after that, man, 2013, man, I closed another deal after that, made $2,000. In my third deal, I made $10,000. Then I just started beast mode, man. Then I got a hold of this guy from Tampa that got a system that I use, and he taught me some processes because he seen one of his students I met was using his system.
Okay.
Guy out of Tampa, this guy named Mark Armoff.
Okay.
He taught me a lot on structure and processing, and man, I dominated 2014 to the point that I processed so many people and met and knew so many people from that 2 years of temporary defeat.
Yeah.
I met so many people at real estate events, so that's how I started wholesaling and selling my deals fast.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I had a network of people that I was processing all this time.
Right.
So I was just spending my money back into the marketing, putting out my own banner signs, so I was able to start hiring my nieces and nephews to help me write them, and they'll come with me and put them out and stuff like that.
Okay.
Then 2014, man, at the end of 2014, this guy I highly respect talked to me and to come to join him with Home Investors. We buy ugly houses.
Okay.
And I became a part of We Buy Ugly Houses like in 2014 at the end.
Okay.
And I was his acquisitions guy.
Gotcha.
I made that guy so wealthy, man, that in those 2 years, man, which I don't not because even though I was getting minimized, but we won #1 franchise the first year he brought me on. That next year, 15, we won #1 franchise of buying the most houses.
Wow.
And I was the acquisition guy. All he did was came up with the money.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I remember when I talked to Marlon about you, he was telling me like, man, you was going back into even some of the neighborhoods where you used to sell drugs at, was going and buying and investing in houses there, flipping some of those houses in there.
Oh yeah, man. That's one of my purposes right now, man. Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's actually one of my purposes right now. I go back into my communities with my own cash and buy houses, and I use a strategy to serve people. I got a hold of this knowledge of this info that really made my life better for me. I started owner finance, and I bond cash, turn around owner finance, and so I found that was a better way to be valuable, to give people ownership.
Right.
Who still in the lower class communities, who not able to go to the bank and get pre-qualified for these big loans and stuff like that. So even though I do flips with my partners and stuff, but I focus on buying more in my communities. That's where I see the purpose is that for me, and I get to help people, man. That like I say, it's a family that I helped who didn't have the money, but they got a lot of kids, and I was able to give her make her payments longer, and she didn't really have to put a larger down payment. So sometimes I'm not looking for the money, even though that's part of the business, but I'm looking to see how I can still help people in those communities.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's what I've been doing for the last 3 years, reinvesting it back into my community with my own money.
That's awesome, man. That I know it feels good, man, to be able to look at some of the same, neighborhoods and things that, that you made money from, and things like that back in the day, but now you're doing it 100% legitly, and you're providing massive value, like you said, to families that can't go to the banks and get loans, doesn't have big down payments for certain, for them to have home ownership, and you're able to provide that. I know that makes you feel so good,
Absolutely, man. It's honestly one of the best feelings, man, because I became passionate to this real estate, not just because of the money, because it still was serving the purpose. It's kind of a correlation of the drug game, but there's different information, different settings, different atmospheres, different transaction, because it's all marketing, customer service, leads, all these type of other facts that I had in the drug game, and correlated just a little bit more different conversations and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's why I was like so passionate about it. I'm like, wow, this is really what I look, because I can do real estate, man, 22 hours a day if I can. Yeah. That's just how much I love it, because I don't watch TV, Chris. So, and I see you always, nurturing your son and your wife, man. I don't got that at the moment. I don't got kids, so I'm constantly in it.
Right.
I'm constantly, what I'm saying? So that's why I teamed up with and brought students on in my communities to push them as well, because of what I see.
Yeah, and I like that too. Guys, hopefully you're following Rob, and if you're not, we're gonna shout out his Instagram in just a little bit, because one thing I like about Rob is that he shares his journey. He shares the process. And a lot of people, even sometimes myself, I would say we get into so much showing the final, run, if you want to say, or the victory lap, as Nipsey would say, of us getting to our goals and getting that check. But at the end of the day, too, man, you got to see the grind. Like, a lot of people don't show, and that's what I like about you, Rob, is that you show all the time, the grind of talking with sellers, talking with private lenders, negotiating a deal, out at an appointment, showing that, listen, there's a process to this thing, okay? It's not one of those things where you just boom, press a button, and then bam, a check comes out, a wire comes to your bank account.
Right.
Because some people think that's what it is, but it's not that at all. But I love that, I'm saying, that you share the process with people and seeing the grind. And like you said, man, I mean, it's just switching hustles, right? That's all it is. It's and not even that. It's the same hustle, different product. That's what it really is.
Absolutely. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is, man. And when I figured that out, I knew that my hustle and my mindset was going to be unstoppable in this business, because product, man, sells itself. It's how you sell it. It's what it is. The product is the magic piece, man.
Right.
And when I seen that, because I was thinking about this, man, and let me tell you this big thing that I didn't tell you that took my life to the next level.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my charger in real fast. So remember I just told you that I got with Home Investors.
Right.
2014, 2015. So in 2016 in January, okay, back now, I'm gonna just, not to just throw the audience off, go back to 2010 when I said that they locked me up,
right,
for my violation. Because when I had the shootout, they locked me up in my violation. I ended up catching a case with my cousin where, because I told you I got back in the game before I went to the maximum prison.
Yep.
I caught a case with my cousin. They gave me some probation time for it. I sold him some cocaine, two ounces of cocaine. He got caught. They put one on me too.
Oh, okay.
So I got probation. So when I got out the feds, I was on state papers now. I was done with the feds. So when I got with Home Investors, I completely was focused on making this guy rich. And I went to every appointment, no matter over the phone, if I knew it wasn't a deal. I went all the way to Louisiana, Alabama, Oklahoma on leads. Home Investors got all the billboards all over the United States.
Yep.
TV commercials. And we was doing $10,000 to $15,000 a month in marketing what he was doing. So I had massive leads in all small towns around Houston. The truck I bought was a 2015. I put over 100-some thousand miles on that truck. That truck, I still got that truck because it was processed.
Yeah.
So I really bought a truck just to process all these leads, and I went to every appointment, and it taught me something, because the guy at HomeVestor said, man, most people don't go on leads over the phone if they don't think it's a deal, but you're not knowing what you can get in the communication that you build with people, and the rapport. Some down the lane may come up, referral or something, you never know. So I adapted that mindset, and I can say since 2014, I have went on every one of my leads. I don't care if they were talking. I don't care if the house was listed. I'm still going to that lead. And that's why I got massive rapport with a lot of people. But to say this, I worked for HomeVestor so hard that I stopped focusing on my personal side.
Okay.
That I didn't report to probation for a whole 9 months or something like that. You know how you got to go report monthly?
Yeah.
So one day they said, Robert, you got to come to court. My lawyer called me and said, you got to come to court. I said, for what? They said, you absconded. I said, what that mean? You haven't reported to probation, and my probation officer knew what business I was in. I wasn't behind on no fees and none of that. They knew, and when I went to court, I had 5 individuals of business people in the real estate business. My mentor, who was the guy over HomeVestors, the owner of one of the HomeVestors franchises, and one of my private lenders, a Chinese lady I do business with, and one of my pastors from my church, and 2 other people came to support me. And don't you know, in 2016 of January, when my life changed, night in the game, they gave me a decision. It's like Napoleon Hill had a decision to go on the journey what Andrew Carnegie told him, and he had to make a decision. The judge made me make a decision. Do you want to leave and come back and face me in court, or do you want to get locked up today and just do 90 days? What decision are you going to make, Chris, if they ask you that? Come back. If you come back, Robert, you might can lose, because I had 5 years paper. If you lose, you getting 5 years TDC. You going to prison. Damn. Or you get locked up right now and you do 90 days.
Man. It depends on how good my lawyer is, man, because hey. If I don't think you're good enough, I might take them 90 days, man.
You feel me? Hey, that's what I was faced with, bro. At that moment, I look back at the crowd. I'm trying to get some answers from somebody's eyes.
Right.
I'm trying to see some eyes. I look at my lawyer, and I had a good lawyer, man.
Okay.
She was friends with the judge. But you got to think about it. And she said that, Robert, usually people get violated. You get an opportunity. Like, they broke all the barriers down because I posted got some time. All type of stuff supposed to happen. Because I ain't report no more.
Right.
Like, you just said, forget probation.
Yeah.
Above the law.
Exactly.
And I showed them receipts, checks, all that stuff. Like, all that stuff. But they weren't trying to hear. So, just to sum it up, I took the 90 days, Chris. And when I took the 90 days, it turned out to be 5 months because of bed space.
Damn.
But in those 5 months, this is where the breaking point came. The 5 months came. I ain't owned no properties before then. I was just wholesaling.
Right.
So as I went through that 5 months, I end up. Those 5 months made me realize I'm making HomeVestors all this money. I ain't making no money. And we broke up. I broke up from the HomeVestors thing because I was asking for some money that I was owed, and they didn't send my money.
Gotcha.
And that 5 months, one of my private lenders sent me 4 books a month. They used to come see me every month. Somebody who I least expected to do that. Half of my family, nobody in my family but my mom, but when this lady started visiting me in prison, a Chinese lady who never seen this side of life, like, captivated me. And in that 5 months, I read 27 books, which I've been reading books, but I read 27 strategic books.
Wow.
And when I got out of that 5 month situation, I was on my own. And I think I had like because I was spending money. I had my truck note and stuff while I was in jail, and I think when I came home, I probably had like $8,000.
Damn.
And when I came home, this lady asked me, "How much money do you want?" And we met. And I just brought her to a seminar a couple of months ago when I told this story, when she asked me how much I wanted. She had a checkbook out because I ain't had no career. I just got out. 5 months. I ain't with Home Vessels no more. In my mind, Chris, I promise you, I want to say 50, 30, 20. Man, you know what I told this woman?
How much?
If somebody asking you for some money, got your checkbook open, to help you start your career, what you gonna say, Chris?
Hey, man, I'm gonna try to say the max, man. I'm gonna be real. Hey, 20,000, 30,000, man, set me good.
Hey, see, that's what's gonna blow the situation, because I told her I only needed 2,000.
Wow, 2 stacks.
2 stacks, Chris.
Wow.
And not knowing that 2 stacks was gonna turn out to be unlimited of millions that I can tap into.
Because that relationship.
Yeah. So that was a test moment, because it took me 2 years to get her in my life in the past anyway. And for her to accept my past, to come see me every month and send me these books that I wanted, she was really, they got Chinese rituals too.
Okay.
So she was really molding me, but making sure I was that one.
Right.
And it was vice versa, because that made me tap into a space, because not only did these 27 books start, I was already on the law of attraction path for what I was affirming, because I met some other people along my journey to help me promote my career. And from that, getting out 2016, man, now on over 20 some properties now, half of them free and clear, partners on a couple of, one apartment deal, and doing multiple different flips with different partners, using their money, making them do all the work. I'm just profiting on the back end, and just beast mode my marketing and buying houses with my cash, putting other people on so they can know, how to build wealth as well.
Wow.
So that's what that journey did for me.
Wow. Man, that's incredible, Rob, man. That's incredible. But that's number one, that's powerful testament of, one, having faith, 2, having a strong relationship and continuing nurturing. I tell everybody, man, listen, this business is about relationships.
Yes.
Right? So if you continue to nurture them, it opens so many doors. I'm pretty sure that she was probably like, man, I could mess with Rob because this guy only asked me for $2,000. like
$2,000, and she told me, man. She told me, because I brought her. She said, "Rob, I at least thought you was gonna ask for 15." She said, "That's the least I thought you was gonna ask for." Right. I told her 2,000, knowing I needed more than this in my mind. It was I was playing with my mind when it was, because I felt bad. I called my mama and said, "Mama, I only asked her for $2,000." You know what I'm saying? But I thank God that He humbled me, man, because I'm big on just receiving the word, because I have to you got to have some type of peace outside of business. Absolutely. Some type of meditation. I don't knock no religion, because I'm not a religious person. I'm not going. I do more outside of my culture anyway, in different groups of people. So I'm not with that, trying to be religious and you not this. You know what I'm saying? Because this world is an open business of different cultures. So you got to understand that to be in business, to separate the religious and business. So she really showed me that if you provide value first, you never know what you can get on the back end of it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I build so many relationships with people with money, and I got more people trying to give me money than I can use right now, because of the value that I add first.
Exactly.
I build people up. I don't try to go do all the extra. I try to build a people that I see that I know got the money, and that's who I'm attacking and building up. So now, when I start building, now it's gonna come back. Now all those people who I built up through my wholesale deals, half of them are private lenders now.
Nice. Okay, so let me ask you, what Rob, what is what does life look like now, as far as the business? Are you? I know you said you got an apartment building you're working on. You got some fix and flips that you're doing. Are you still doing some wholesaling stuff now? Or?
Absolutely,
Okay.
man. I'm a wholesaler till I'm 83 years old. For real, I'm gonna be, me and baby, we gonna be on, if we on K's, we gonna be pulling the title company, wholesaling, man. Let me get that check.
Right.
But yeah. Wholesaling, man, is something that I master, bro. I love it. It's, that's something that I dominate in because I'm able to give other people opportunities. I got my sign guys, I got my door hanger guys. I'm paying people to keep people in position.
Yeah, I love it.
So you know what I'm saying? So wholesaling is something that I love, man. That's something I started off with. And that's something that I try to dominate into my business as well.
Got you. Okay. All right. And are you only focused on like the Houston and surrounding areas? Are you thinking about maybe doing some other areas possibly?
Yes. Actually, I do Houston, Beaumont, and all the whole Beaumont Triangle areas, like Port Arthur, Orange. Then I got a cousin in North Carolina that became a broker, and I'm finna do some things up there.
Okay.
So I'm looking to really, because one thing about this, Chris, that I've seen, that once you understand the concepts, you can go anywhere with this business. As long as you got your computer, you can go anywhere in the business and find some like-minded people, find out the marketing, and you can dominate probably in another city more than your own city.
Absolutely. All right. So I know we're running out of time, but man, this has all been great, Rob. So let me ask you this: like you said, if anybody connects with Rob on Instagram, matter of fact, at this point, shout out your Instagram. I'm gonna make sure we put that in the show notes too.
Real estate wealth building.
All right, and guys, I want to make sure in the show notes that you have a link to Rob on Instagram so you can be able to connect with him. And like I said, see his, because he listen, no cap, guys, this guy literally shows the whole process. Like, you will literally see Rob riding a bike, listen to some Les Brown or some motivational music. Then the next minute, he out here getting a contract at an appointment. So he gonna show you the whole process. You connect with him on Instagram. But what are your goals, man? Now, man, I mean, you dominate wholesaling, you putting your community on, you building a team. What are some of the goals that you're looking to accomplish, over these next few months to the next few years?
Man, you know what? Great question, man, because I like to write goals, daily, and I kind of got that from listening to other great minds, and it's something that I felt that was big for me because everything I wrote down, some of the things came in fruition. And one of my biggest ultimate goals that I got coming up that I'm praying for, that I want to do, I want to build some mastermind facilities for kids in the community to get them an exposure of different resources of real estate and investing, and having a love for books, of how books can take your mind into another world besides the world you're living in. And that's one of my biggest things that I want to do. It's going to be nonprofit wise. That's something I'm working on.
Gotcha. And
I'm putting it to fruition. That's one of the long-term things, because I want to impact kids, because it's a lot of kids from my community that moms may be on drugs, or they may be in a private situation, and they may have low self-esteem and not see the greatness they have within them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was in a location of just being still, but I was still able to use my mind. And a lot of those people just need tapping into.
Yep.
And those the kids that I want to tap into to get you to come see this greatness.
Right.
Yeah, you might be going to home and it might be roaches and drugs everywhere, but you're going to come to this mastermind facility and think great. You're going to think big. And it's going to spark this seed in you to, like, okay, I might be here now, but watch when I get a load. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I want to captivate that, man. That's one of my biggest things that I want to do. Other goals, I have bigger goals to go into the apartment units.
Okay.
I took a lot of apartment courses. That's something that I did big for myself.
Okay.
When I got out from 2016, I probably invested over $80,000 in personal development over 3 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So looking to just grow other people, man. My goals is right now to help other people level up, man.
Right.
I don't want to be the only one at the top. And I want to have a circle of just young guys that I can push to 6 figures, man. That's one of my goals that I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because I tell people, listen, more people you make successful, I mean, it's gonna make you successful. You know, I want to make everybody around me successful, obviously, right? Because you're only as good as your team. You know,
right?
And success feels a lot better when the people around you are just as successful. It just makes everything a lot better. It keeps the hate away as well, too.
Man, what? Ain't nobody feeling like, oh man, trust me, I know, man. Yeah. So yes, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Yeah, and I would say, I mean, I love the nonprofit idea because they've always said, man, you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book, right? Because
absolutely,
we just don't read books as much, so it's a good thing to let the community and the culture know of the biggest lessons and the biggest mindset shift. The ideas can literally come from a book. I mean,
absolutely.
I love reading. I still read all the time, just to keep processing and keep getting new information and things like that. So,
right,
man, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, sharing gems, man. Your story is definitely going to be an inspiration for a lot of people listening. Shout your Instagram out last time.
Real Estate Wealth Builder. It's Real Estate Wealth Builder. Real Estate Wealth _builder. It's going to Raw by Houses.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. And again, we're going to make sure that we include that in the show note links. Any last words you want to say for the community or anybody that's listening? Like I said, this is getting broadcast over 50 countries. So, anything you want to say? Anyone would connect with you if they got some business in Houston? Let them know.
Absolutely, man. Also, you can connect with me on Facebook, Robert Kennon. My last name KENNON. My email, wevaluehomesolutions@gmail.com. I'm thankful for my brother Chris to give me this opportunity. This is a guy, like I say, I met through a great friend down here in Houston, and this guy has been of an inspiration to me. I'm thankful for this opportunity. But one thing I want to share and leave with you guys, man, that one thing I found out that nobody can stop you but you. In life, whatever you commit to, that's what you focus on. I don't care about the haters. I don't care what's going on. I don't care about your financial situation. That's all temporarily. Everything is temporarily. That's why I say process. But once you commit and own up to that, nobody can stop you, man. And greatness is on the way for you.
Perfect. All right, guys. And you know my quote, don't live the dream, live your dream. I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Escaping the REI Newbie Zone podcast at www.escapethenewbiezone.com.